The new 4th gen ND Mazda MX-5 has been around for a few years now. It's been quite a hit thanks to its return to form, lightweight platform and modern styling. Mazda really did create a fantastic little car, and I'd like to show you some of my favourite parts with everything Mazda got right with the new ND MX-5 Miata. First up, a feature that I really rather appreciate. So you hop in your car in the morning to go for a drive, you put your things down, you clip up your seatbelt, and you hit that start button. The engine revs to life, and you're greeted with a cute little blue light. The cold indicator. It lets you know the engine temp is cool, and the car still needs to warm up before you push it hard. It's a great idea. It lets you know when things are still particularly chilly under the bonnet, and encourages more mechanical sympathy during warm-up. Speaking of the engine, it's great that Mazda knows their buyer. They know we're tinkerers. We're the kind of people that appreciate a hunk of metal spinning thousands of RPM. They understand us so well that they intentionally dialed back on the plastics of the engine bay. When you pop the hood, you can actually see the motor, you can see the exhaust, you can see the intake. It's great to have a feeling of a more raw vehicle. The responsiveness from the 2-litre is particularly satisfying. Well, at least when it comes to being an MX-5. They've never really been fast, but this motor is quite powerful and surprisingly torquey for what it is. This new Skyactiv 2-litre motor has much more usable torque low down in the rev range and a wider power band overall, making for a nicer drive away from the traffic lights and a more satisfying everyday drive. And that brings me on to my next point. It's a very fun car to drive. Undoubtedly, it has some of the raw driver's car feel, much like the original. And like any MX-5, you can thrash it to bits, floor the throttle, wring its neck, and you're still within the speed limit. But through the twisty roads, back roads, country tracks, or mountain drives, it's a nice, capable sports car. It's playful, but not uncontrollable. The thing that adds to that satisfying drive experience is where you sit. The interior. It's a nice place to be. The quality of the materials are nice, with lashings of leather and nicely tactile buttons and plastic surfaces on the console and doors. Sure, it's not at the levels of the Germans, who have those beautiful soft touch plastics, but it's not as plasticky as, say, a base spec Nissan Micra. Also on the interior, one item which is a great inclusion is the twin USB ports, with which you can charge your phone, plug in a USB drive with MP3s, and well, USB is almost a necessity in cars these days. It's great that the MX-5 got a pair of them. Of course, one issue though is that when you're inside the car, you miss out on one of the car's best features, the exterior styling of the ND. Yes, I know it's totally subjective, but I feel as though it's an excellent blend of Mazda Roadster form, but also modernisation of the look and feel of the MX-5. While the rear is a little disappointing, the front and the profile angles in particular are really pretty stunning. I do really like that when opening and closing the doors, the windows have the auto drop feature. And sure, it isn't a new thing, cars like the Porsche Boxster have had this for years, but it does help with sealing out the wind and rain and also gives the car just a little bit of character. And lastly, while still on the topic of openings, the soft top action, it is brilliantly simple. It is easy to raise and lower, the latch mechanism is super functional and really light. And best of all, it's not overly complicated or expensive. Sure, it's not automatic or electrically operated, but it's easily the fastest folding soft top roof out there. And when it's lowered, it looks pretty neat and tidy. Now, of course, you may disagree with some of these points, or you may know of some other great features of the ND MX-5 that I've missed, or perhaps you think the car is terrible. If that's the case, I'd love to hear from you by leaving a comment down below. And if you enjoyed the video, you may want to go and check out my other video on everything Mazda got wrong with the new ND MX-5, where I talk about all the bad points of this car. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that one. Well, anyway folks, that's been everything that I think Mazda got right with the new ND MX-5 Miata. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the track.